hindsight often gives us the benefit of having a real clear view in the rear view mirror about how things should have gone and what we should have done. Does the same thing apply to investing? That's what I'm thinking about today. As I'm recording this, today is my son's 11th birthday. Happy birthday, Jack. And as I often do on some of these milestones, I've been thinking back on the past 11 years, and I got to thinking about what the markets have done during Jack's lifetime. And so started doing some homework. It's relatively easy to find the index values. As I'm recording today, the S&P is right around 3950, and going back to March of 2012, S&P was at about 1,400. So, something approaching triple the value, right? Growth over those 11 years. It's easy to see that and go, hey, that makes sense. But one of the things I wanted to find out is that, dividends play a big part in investment returns, and that, 1,400 to 3,900 growth in the index doesn't include any dividends. So I was able to dig up some information. It's really hard to find that information out there. I did take a look at the S&P 500 ETF, SPY is the ticker symbol. I was able to find a nice graph. We'll link to it in the show notes. But here are the numbers that came up with is the dividend payout that SPY had back in March of 2012. The trailing 12 months was just over 2%, or $2 a share, I should say, on dividend payout. Today, the most recent previous 12 months, over $6 per share. Right, so the S&P 500, yep, it's almost tripled. The dividend payout has also almost tripled. And when you think about that, and dividends are very tied to earnings, I was able to find some information on earnings. That number has similarly grown over 200% or over 2 times. And so we've got earnings that have grown. The value of the shares has gone up, right? But also the value of the payouts has gone up from that. And as you think about that, and again, we can cherry pick any given 11-year period. I just happen to be thinking about this one. But where we're sitting today in the spring of 2023, coming off of the year we had in the markets where pretty much everything was down last year, that recency bias that we all have, what happened most recently is bound to happen again. And as we're thinking about these things, looking into that longer term perspective, looking in that rear view mirror to say, well, hey, the markets, yeah, that certainly has been up. That's great. And then wait a minute, earnings are way up, and then dividends are way up on those 500 largest and strongest companies in America. And it really gives some sense of perspective that, that long-term works, and looking at some of those things. I'll put a link in there. You can kind of play around with different time frames, and you go, not all the time, but most of the time we're looking at these similar things, and that the future does hold bright things, and looking in the rearview mirror can be helpful as far as framing our thought process. So that's what I'm thinking about today. As always, interested in knowing what you're thinking about. Drop a note in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube, or shoot me an email directly. And as always, thanks for watching.